Uh, guys, could talk about the U.S. men's national team.
We don't have to.
Do we?
Okay. Eh.
Um, they're down bad. They're down bad. For the first time in CONCACAF Nations League history, which it hasn't been around for that long, but we have been the winners of that trophy 3 times in a row, and we don't even place this time. So, yay. Uh, we played like ass, like in all honesty. But the worst part is we're not playing with heart, and that gets to me more than anything. Is like you can play bad, but like fucking care. If I care more than you, this is not good. Um, I would say that I would excuse 2 players of the no heart accusation, and that would be Tyler Adams and Diego Luna. Gio Reyna, he's class, but kind of like he's like in his own little different bubble of whether
Isn't it always his MO anyway? It's like he's so good, but you just don't know what rain is going to show up.
he could be nonchalant, so like you can't really tell if he's caring or not. But he's still class. One thing we are missing our fullbacks, Jedi Robinson and Serginho Des. Des just came back from an ACL injury, and he stayed at his club. I think that's a good decision. Like I said with Juju, don't come back too early. Don't re-aggravate. He's an important player for us. We need him to come back when he fully can come back. So please be careful with our boy over there at PSV. We need him. We need him a lot. We've missed him. And Jedi, he was initially on the roster, but he got a knock and he stayed at Fulham, which again, take care of our boys. PSV, Fulham, we need them. So take care of our boys. Let's not aggravate their knees. Matt Turner, I'm sorry, man. I love your story. I love that you didn't play soccer until you were in high school and you were doing it to stay conditioned for baseball, that he still views himself as a baseball player. If you watch, he did home run. When they were playing in St. Louis, he went to the St. Louis Cardinals and was like hitting home runs. He's a very good baseball player, but he just ended up being a soccer player. So, like, I love his story. He cannot continue to be our number one goalkeeper. If he's
We were
not
worried
playing,
about him too.
yeah, if he's not playing significant minutes at his club, he cannot be our number one goalkeeper. And he got both games, which was like a little disappointing. After the first game, I would have liked us to try someone else in goal because it was a third place game, but we put him out again. And so he needs to make a move this summer. Um, and like just thinking about our goalies, that used to be our strongest position as a U.S. men's national team. We, even if everyone else on the field wasn't as skilled as other national teams, we had Tony Miola or Brad Friedel or Casey Keller, or Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, Nick Raimondo. Like those were elite players who played elite soccer. And like Tim Howard, I remember what team was it against in the World Cup that he literally had like 16 plus saves. Like he was a fucking brick wall
Oh,
in goal.
I don't remember that one. I forget which one it was. He played. He
Yeah,
played so many international games. I forgot which
Yeah,
one.
Belgium.
right.
It was against Belgium.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
He, so it's crazy to think that like a goalkeeper is what I'm nervous about now when our history since the 90s, that's been our strongest position. Um, Pulisic, we love you. You cannot be our set piece taker anymore. He's a set piece taker for Milan. He's amazing as a set piece taker for Milan. But when he's in a US shirt, he fucking sucks at it. He can't do it anymore. Let's take it away. You're not allowed. Um, we lost.
You didn't say the quote, by the way, because in the notes it says, "But he is complete ass."
For us.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
us.
I like that wording. It's
Not America's ass. Complete ass.
complete ass.
I lost to Panama. We lost 1-0. Thomas Christensen. He set up his team better than we did. Pochettino subbing was weird. He instead of so our things weren't working out, and typically if you're going to sub in, you want to put in different profiles, and he did like for like subbing. And that means like, oh, so we're continuing to, things are not working out in the formations that we have set up now, and we're just going to continue to do the same thing.
Right.
Instead of do something different. Also, we had no Gia, no Luna, who those are more creative players. That to me was a crazy decision. He said he was going to bring them on for extra time, but still, like, you do not wait to be like, oh, we're going to get a tie and then go for 30 extra more minutes. Like, you bring them on earlier. Like I said earlier, Tyler Adams, he seemed like he was the only one who cared in this match. Because, as I said, Diego Luna, he was a bright spot, but he didn't play this match. As for the goal, a great strike by Waterman for Panama in the 90+4 minute to get the win for his country. And he had an awesome celebration with Thierry Henry. So if I could take my U.S. fan hat off, I'm like, oh, that was really cool. And Thierry didn't expect it. And afterwards, Thierry was talking about, he's like, I've had a lot of goal celebrations in my life. That was probably one of the best. So let's watch the goal against the U.S., but the celebration with Thierry.
It's given away by the U.S. now. You have to be careful they don't concede before extra time. Here's Carrasquilla. Carrasquilla forward for Waterman. Cecilio Waterman! Los Canaleros with the knockout blow in stoppage time. It's given away by the U.S.
That is awesome.
You have to be careful they
I mean, I would do the same thing. It's freaking Thierry Henry. It's the reason I'm a Red Bulls fan, which even though he's a French player, whatever. I loved his game.
He said afterwards when they asked Thierry, he goes, "Tu eres mi ídolo," which means you are my idol. And they even brought him on to talk to Thierry afterwards, and it was cool. So like, take the U.S. hat off. That's really cool for him. Fucking sucks for us, but it is what it is. What a great strike by him, but also I feel that if better but goalkeeper, if we had one of those many names that I just said, they probably would have saved that. Tony Miola even went through. It's just like Turner was too close to his near post. He should have been up a little bit and to the right. And then also that he was jumping up and down, that his feet weren't set. So then when he went for the dive, he was like a little bit off. And if you look at the dive, like he would have got the ball even being to his near post. So even Tony Miola was like, yeah, he was a little too close to his near post, but him not having his feet set is the reason he did not save that. And so, yeah, that's what happens when you have a keeper that is not match fit. Yeah. He's training, but he's not match fit. And so we've had a lot of former U.S. men's national team players speak. But before we get to them, Tvshka, any of your thoughts on the U.S. men's national team?
Look, Ohio. You've got to stop giving up these crap players. All right? I'm sure one of those white guys are from there. I think these videos that we're about to watch, they say everything. It's just you want to see them actually have that passion, and this not just be like a paycheck, because you can definitely tell they've been kind of phoning it in a little bit. But I mean, we had the coaching kind of issues over the last couple of years. I think like last year was the first time we got that coach, so a little bit of a new system. But yeah, I mean, from former players, kind of hearing what they've been saying, it seems to resonate pretty strongly with the rest of the fan base that it is a player issue where they're just not as fundamentally sound, and they're just not really kind of playing with the heart or passion or just intensity that they kind of need to. Because they said, I think one of them said that they'd rather have someone play with pride than play with talent, and so they've been touted for the last couple of years. We've been kind of really doing a lot of these shows that they're so talented, they're incredibly talented, but it just hasn't really shown. So we'll see. We'll see if they can right the ship. Hopefully, this is enough of a wake-up call for them to actually, kind of do a little bit of course correction. But yeah, it might be a little bit of a rebuilding season for sure for the U.S.
And Panama's got our number. They knocked us out in Copa America. They knocked us out in Gold Cup. They now knock us out here in Nations League. Josh, your thoughts?
Like Tvshka said, it was like we've been talking about it before. It's just there's no heart, and we were thinking we thought it was a great hire as far as the head coach is concerned. I know he just got the job. Basically, he's been there for like a biscuit and a cup of coffee, which feels like. But at the end of the day, you figured you at least see some type of progression in the right direction as far as the heart, and that's all we cared about was like, okay, maybe he'll instill the heart that we were just lacking, and it just doesn't seem that way. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much. If you ain't got that dog in you, you ain't got that dog in you. It doesn't matter how. I mean, we got a bunch of Jamie Tarts that need to be Ted Lassoed.
Ooh,
I like that. I like that. But going to former players, Herculez Gomez, he used to play for the U.S. men's national team. He's got some thoughts. Let's watch this first video.
Yep. Hercules with a Z, baby.
I hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's Los Angeles on a Thursday, 4 o'clock. What do you expect? I guarantee you the Mexican national team is playing at 4 o'clock. That stadium is going to be just as we saw it last night versus Canada. The U.S. men's national team right now, and for a long time, hasn't just had problems to draw. They're not a likable team on many levels. It used to be the coaching front. Now it's the players. Then it was the federation. The men's side is not a draw in its own country. You see what's on the field, and there are a few, I'm going to go with the players first. There are a few head scratchers in the adjustments or the tactics, but the players are on the field. You've got to at least show desire. You've got to at least show motivation, pride. These players, this golden generation, has not done anything that the previous generations have not done if we're not talking about Mexico. Previous generations before it, decades before, other national teams for this program were doing things this program wishes they could do. The only thing that gets fans excited about this program are where their players play at the club level. They're not an easy team to root for if you're a fan. You see the disinterest in some of those players in playing against a team that was depleted by injuries and absences in Panama. If you look at this as an outsider, a neutral, there was one team that knew exactly how they wanted to play. As limited as that was, they had an identity. The U.S. men's national team at no point in time had solutions for that mid-block, had solutions for those tight, limited lines and high energy and pride of the Panamanian side. And the worst part is the U.S. men's national team almost won this. They could have easily just won this 1-0 and scraped by, and it would have papered over what would have been another lackluster performance from Mauricio Pochettino's U.S. men's national team. The players have a lot of blame here, absolutely. I know this is a U.S. men's national team that's been hampered by injuries. You don't have Sergiño Dest. You don't have Anthony Robinson. You don't have some playmakers that could change the game, your first 2 or 3 best nines on the field. But you have more than this Panamanian side to win. Now, Mauricio Pochettino, my God. He goes a few days ago and says in 5 to 10 years they could win the World Cup? What are you talking about? What has the U.S. men's national team ever done to give you an inclination that it could win the World Cup? What have these players shown you in these camps where you could say, hey, we're going to be one of the best teams in the world soon? The next 2 World Cups, we could be there. I've seen more from Mauricio Pochettino in YouTube charity matches than I have from the U.S. men's national team. You have a situation where you are struggling for imagination, we are struggling for creativity, you're struggling for a player to go out there and find passes, find the nines, find the wingers, and you leave a player like Giovanni Reyna on the bench? And why? Because you wanted to save him for extra time against Panama at home? There are so many things with this performance that were just beyond pathetic. I can't even begin to start where, honestly.
Ooh.
So we're in a good spot.
5 years, baby, 5 years. You heard Coach say it.
And he even had some more to say about Pochettino.
What? More? I thought he said everything.
I'm at a loss for words to trying to get U.S. men's national team fans to stay on board here, because they endured what I thought was a promising start by Greg Berhalter and a tumultuous end. And now you are here with Mauricio Pochettino, who you are paying $6 million a year. $6 million a year, and I'm getting the sense that he doesn't watch the games. He's not scouting the players. You don't have the luxury of being in Argentina, being in Brazil, being in these different countries where you don't have to go recruit dual nationals. He doesn't care about that. I see more out of him watching his ex-team in Newell's Old Boys in Rosario. I see more out of him in these YouTube charity matches than actually working with the U.S. men's national team and what maybe players that play at a high level or participate in a high level in the top 5, leagues in the world, but haven't done anything that any other U.S. men's national team pool has done before them. So I'm sitting here, what are $6 million a year getting you? What is going on?
It's not your money, Herc. Who cares? Who cares what he's getting paid? It doesn't matter, does it?
Well, it's my job to care. It's my job to analyze.
It doesn't matter. $6 million for me. It doesn't really affect things.
He's one of the highest paid managers in world international football. So we should hold him to the fire when we don't see results, when we see a regression, because from Greg Berhalter's in to Pochettino now, they're getting worse.
Yeah, I don't like it when a coach is like, give me 6 years. What? No, we don't pay you that much money to come here and, freaking, I don't know a good comparison at the top of my head, but we don't pay you to win when I'm 52. Don't ask how old I am now, but we're not waiting that long.
Love it.
Love it. And we got some few more former players. This was in a stream that they did where they're previewing the match with Canada, and has Tony Meola, a goalkeeper that I spoke about, Charlie Davies, and Jimmy Conrad. So let's listen to them.
All the players are coming out. Same-ish, different day. Right? Every player has come out and said, we didn't bring the fight. So how can you, if they're not confident in the team and saying it publicly, right?
I hear you.
How can we sit here and go, we're confident that Pochettino is going to get it right, that the team's going to get it right, that he's going to make the right adjustments?
Look, I think this is a learning moment for Pochettino about his players. He's also going to learn a lot about how they react. But I'm going to be honest, man. I never put anything on Greg Berhalter. I never put anything on Pochettino. I never put anything on any other manager that was there before. It's about players, man. At some point, of all the managers we've had, right? Think about Pochettino's background. Is there anything in the Argentinian background that tells you don't go out and scratch and fight and bite and kick and kick at a minimum, kick the crap out of the opponent? You know what I'm getting at, right? Like who do you? He's told them. He has said it in press conferences. They've said it in press conferences. But now it's up to 11 guys or 15 guys, however many play. This for me, has nothing to do with Pochettino.
So he's not putting it on Pochettino like Hercules Gomez was there, but still talking about the players. And we got a little bit more from them. Let's watch this next video.
I just don't know. You can't hit a switch and all of a sudden be nasty, right? The guys that we've been around and played with or didn't like playing against, it's inside. It's inside of them. They want to be bastards. They want to fight and scratch for everything. You can't. But hey, Tones, I need you to be meaner.
No, but
you know what I mean? Like, it's either in your DNA or not.
It's so funny because the last 24 hours hearing all these press conferences, I thought about this because I hate the narrative that like my generation couldn't play. We could play, right? We weren't nearly. But we weren't near. No. But hear me out for a second. We weren't nearly as good as the generations after, so we needed that fight. Your guys' generation, you guys were better players. You were a better national team, and you had that already in you, right?
Right.
This is supposed to be the better footballing
golden generation
technique,
right? And we lost that part of it, and that's what I don't get. That's where in my head I'm like, that's what keeps me up when I think about the national team. Like we needed it, right? And it helped us. The next group didn't need it, but they had it, and it helped them. And I'm like, this team could use a little bit of that.
I'm not gonna lie; those two comments totally threw me off. I thought they actually came out our video there for a second. I was like, Brandon Levesque, like and subscribe, man. Come on.
But Josh, any more to say from just hearing the former players?
I mean, is it Tony Miola? Is he the guy on the far left?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of said it right. It was like, that's just kind of the progression it's gone as far as the players that we have. Now you can question the manager, but maybe he ran it down because he's just not playing. I mean, in the game, just going back to basketball in the March Madness, Rick Pitino sat his best player because he was 2 of whatever, and he sat him for his last 4 minutes. People got on him for that, but Rick Pitino can get away with that. It's not the same thing as like, maybe he's just doing a sign, but then when he comes out with that 6-year crap, I'm not in for that. And then, talking about, the older generations, they weren't as talented, but they had the fight in them. And then you had, what the other guys who were better players, but they also had the fight in them, where now we're supposed to be, like we were kept saying, like, this is the most talented. We saw them live. We know how good they are, but they just don't care. And you said at the top when we got in this segment, Soul, is if you don't care, that we don't care. And this is why they become what we think about NBA players. It's like, it doesn't feel like you care, and you are skill beyond skill, but we just don't feel like you care. So why should we?
Yeah, and like on the whole thing of Gio is not getting a lot of minutes at his club, so you can use that excuse if you didn't have Matt Turner in goal. Because Matt Turner is also getting 0 minutes at his club. So it's like one of those things of like, okay, this is a little contradictory there. So that's why I would, and we've seen Gio get us out of a bind. And especially in this tournament too. So it was one of those, but for me, it's less about Gio not playing and it's more about like, where's the heart? And I can hear Christian Pulisic after every game talk about, we care and I love this country and I'm fighting for this country. It's like, fucking show us. I don't care if you're saying it. Your words mean nothing to me if your actions aren't showing it. And exactly. So we also lost to Canada. We lost 2-1. Jesse Marsh, he set up his team better than we did. He also got a red card in this match, which was kind of funny. He went absolutely nuts over what he thought was a penalty. It wasn't actually a penalty, but in the game against Mexico that they lost, it was a penalty and they weren't given it. So he's probably like just thinking of the last game and just went fucking nuts. And it was hilarious. And they even like tracked him running down the hallway to then go upstairs. So it cameraman, good job, man. But a reminder for everyone, Jesse, American from Racine, Wisconsin, who he's coached at the club level. He used to coach for my team, Leeds United. And he actually was trying to get the U.S. men's national team job. He was in the running for it before we rehired Greg Berhalter. And then after doing a little bit of TV punditry, he got the Canada job. And he's even, like, he was asked, like, are you going to sing both anthems? And he's like, I'll have my hand on my heart for the U.S. anthem, but I'm going to sing the Canadian one because I'm the coach of Canada. So he's like, I love my country. I love being an American, but I'm the coach of Canada, so I have to be respectful to Canada. And I understand that. I get that.
Yep, I understand.
Our defending, abhorrent. Other than the goal, which was not a good strike at all. Patrick Agyemang did not have a good game. At least he scored, though. So, like, there's that. Diego Luna, only bright spot. He actually was creating for us. And as I said before, Gio is Gio. And going to another former player, Clint Dempsey, he has some words after this game. So let's watch that.
Just a final word from you on this for a second, because I know that we asked you on Thursday after the loss to Panama, how much does it hurt? Does this one actually hurt more?
I mean, no matter how you looked at it, it was going to be a failure. But yeah, I mean, you would hope that they would get up for this game. There'd be more pride to try to get things back on track and try to get this fan base behind them. Because as we were sitting here, you had some of the Outlaws shouting to me, "Hey, get them right, say something." And I was like, "Hey, y'all let them know what's going on. Like, they need to fight for y'all. We got to do this together." And things are not good right now. Everybody's starting to turn on each other a little bit.
You got a little bit mad when they
I'm the wrong one. I'm the wrong one. I ain't on the field no more. When I was on the field, I gave you everything I had.
Yes, you did.
Boom, mic drop.
Mic drop.
So yeah, if anyone's pissed off, it's going to be Clint Dempsey because he had that dog in him. But that's what I have. Any more thoughts or anything else you want to say about the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are a young team. So I mean, like as a lot of the national teams are. So that's where I mean, looking at it, I mean, everybody except one person is 29 or younger. So they're still babies. But I don't know if this is a generational thing or just kind of like current like cultural climate as far as just having that aggression or as far as sport mentality. But we need someone to step up and be the leader because it really just takes one person to really get the locker room in shape. So I mean, Diego Luna is 21 years old. He's one of the youngest guys. If that's him stepping up, that's I mean even better, because then that's somebody we can actually hitch our wagon to for years. But
and he could have played for Mexico too. He decided to play for the United States.
Yeah, he chose to play for us, and and chose to play for coach. And so it is a $6 million contract. $6 million a year, but he also took a pay cut because whenever he was with Chelsea, he was getting $13 million a year. Yeah. So it seems like people are making some choices and sacrifices, but god damn it, guys, we've got to get it together in this, and so somebody's got to step up. Other people might need to ship out, but yeah, I mean, as far as for our chances next year for the World Cup 2026. Not looking that great, yeah. and maybe that's what the coach is saying is like, hey, there's no way we can get this together this year or next year. So we're not looking at this one. We're looking at that following one there in 2030. So maybe that's what he's really kind of referring to when he talks about the 5-year plan, or in 5 years we have a chance. But we'll see. I mean, because 5 years you're gonna have a lot older players. And hopefully a lot more maturity, but hopefully some dogs, man. I mean, we just got to get some canines in these little babies.
The worst thing to happen to us would be getting grouped on home soil at the World Cup. We are hosting along with Canada and Mexico, so that would be an absolute failure by our team and by our federation if we get grouped. So the World Cup is going to be here next year. Mm-hmm. We cannot play bad on home soil. We just cannot.
No. And if we need some guys who had that dog in the fight and also just to get our boys in shape, just the hockey season's ready to come to an end. Just get the Kachuk brothers over there and just go out there and just have them just beat the crap out of our guys. Just to put the fight in them. I don't care. Just get the Kachuk brothers out there and let them do their thing. Also, shout out to Kate Scott. Just randomly. Just throwing it out there. Whatever,